Hi, it's Gary. Welcome to today's live stream, coming to you from a cool Western Australia. Let's jump on in and take a look at the weather. You say it's trying. There we are. I couldn't find the button for a second then. Anyway, here we go. So the weather at the moment, it's a fairly chilly morning. It's 11 Celsius, which works out about 52 Fahrenheit. This is actually warm for this week. It's been a lot colder than that most of the week, but never mind. Let's head on back. Make sure again, find the right button to press, Gary. There we go. So I'm going up for the camera at the top here. Then I might jump down there, then up. Oh, I don't know. I could be all over today. Let me just minimize Safari. Minimize in case we need it again. So, been a busy week this week. I had a new idea for an app last weekend. So I've been really playing around with that. One of the problems I get is when I start a new project like this, I get really deep into it and everything else just vanishes. I get right into a flow state and that can last for a few days. This case, it's still going wrong. Like it's still going on now, even after a week. So I've been working away on this new app. What I've decided to do is it will not be available till mid-September because that's when the new versions of iOS and macOS come out, and it's been built on those new versions just to take advantage of some of the new functionality, except I found a bug. One of the pieces of new functionality that I want to include just does not work. So I've filed a report on that, so hopefully that'll get fixed so I can get on with that. So yeah, I wasted about half a day there trying to get it to work and end up saying, look, it's not drop dead that I need it, so I didn't bother. It's all there, the code is ready to go, I just need to uncomment it, so essentially turn it back on. So yeah, that's been my week. Let's have a go down at the little camera there, and I'm talking more to the camera at the moment. I know it's the problem with the screen is where I've got the camera, it's just too high, and with the Mac, it's just too low. I could do with one, which about here, I know you can't see my hands, about halfway between the two, so I can look into it when I'm actually reading comments. But never mind, we'll get there in the end. So let's head over to the comments. So yeah, my new project currently ongoing. Hopefully, I might be able to give a quick demo of it next week. We'll just see how it goes this week. I've got it where I can start using it now, but there's some things I'll need to tweak still. So let's head to the comments. Steve, welcome Steve. A cool 88 Fahrenheit in Utah this evening. Where was it? I was reading somewhere over in the US. Was it the US? Can't have been. I'm sure I saw somewhere about problems with snow during the week. I must just be misremembering. I mean, I'm old. I do misremember. David, welcome to you, David. In the capital city of Austin, it's a stormy and 87 Fahrenheit or 31 Celsius. Yeah, we're having a storm at the moment. You might hear it occasionally. We've got a lot of wind. And when it gusts, you really can't hear it in this room. So I don't know if that will happen and if the mics will pick it up. I've tried to tune my mics as well as I can to cut out the noise from weather. We've had rain for the last day and a half. Only showers, so it's not too bad. Elaine was saying she saw a news report at a place called Mandra, which is about a 10-minute drive from where we live, that there was one road, not sure whereabouts in Mandra, where there was that much water on the roads that people were actually kayaking on it. And I thought, yeah, you just imagine that, can't you? Tom, welcome to you, Tom. In Atlanta, it's currently 76, which is 24.5 Celsius. We're right between two thunderstorms, but nothing here yet. Do you know, that's one thing I do miss, a good thunderstorm. Why is that happening? Okay, well, apologies. My preview is showing ads in the middle. I must have tweaked a setting and put ads in. So let me make a note. So no ads in stream. I I can understand why they do them, but it always takes me out of the stream when I'm watching a stream that has ads in it. David, hey Tom Morley, welcome to you. Blonde Scales 1, hello from Arkansas, where we're having a cool spell at 81 Fahrenheit. Welcome, Blonde Scales 1. David, hey, Blonde Scales 1. And then we got a hi back. Jim, hello from Harper's Ferry WV. I need to do that list up. Why don't I write it down, then I won't forget. There we go. I made a note. That actually could be something for my new app. The new app, it's based around lists and managing lists. I use Apple Notes a lot, but the list management in there is really bad, not very good at all. I've used things like Notion before, which is all web-based and is just too much for what I want, which is why I decided to build this little app that I am. So yeah, that's a good one for actually testing it out. David, hello to Steve. Tom, we've got some hellos. Andreas, g'day from sunny Brisbane. It may be sunny, but a cold snap means it's currently 14 Celsius. I know, isn't that funny? We're the same way, where you say 14 Celsius is cold. You know, if I'd have gone back over 20 years when I still lived in the UK, 14, and it had been shorts weather. David, hello, Jim. We've got hi back, we've got another good day there. And hi to David Parsons. Jim, I went to the DC show on Friday. Too much to see in one day. Yeah, I haven't watched it yet because it was 3 hours. I normally watch Mike Matheson when he goes to a lot of these pen shows and he does a tour around them. I normally quite enjoy watching them, but yeah, it does seem quite a long way away, to go. But also quite a lot of people there, and to really be able to give them the time they need, you need to be able to stop and spend time at each table. And there also seem to be so many people. I don't like crowds. I get my anxiety really jumps in crowds. So yeah, I would really struggle with that. Andreas, hello to David. And then David, wow, any acquisitions? I don't know why, but when I said acquisitions there, into my mind, it jumped the Ferengis from Star Trek with their rules of acquisition. Jim, I did get a cursive Monarch nib and three vintage pens. Wow, their Monarch nibs sound quite interesting, don't they? They're very, very different. David, cool. I hear that DC is a huge show. Hey, Musset, good evening, Gary and everyone. Welcome to you. Jim, at least 4 rooms. Wow, that's massive. David, hi to A Musset. Jim Edwards, sounds like a good day, Jim. David, I've got a couple of friends up there with tables. The Penator, welcome to you. Springfield, 77 degrees and near perfect for time in a month. Yeah, 77, that's more than livable, isn't it? Jim, I did stop at Dromgools and picked up a couple of Apica notebooks. Just got to move that over there, it's not in the way. I'm still 2 minds about Apica. So when I first got my Apica notepad, it was over a year ago, it seemed to handle pens really well. But after a year, when it had been sat in my what do you call it, the doobie dab thingamajig, the drawers, it sat in the drawers for a year. And then when I got it out, it was not handled in fountain pens very well at all. So I'm wondering if, obviously because of the heat we get here, I'm wondering if the paper actually inside the notepad dried out a bit, which has obviously affected its properties. I have noticed that Oxford Optic paper do something similar, where over time the paper seems to really dry out, especially in the heat, and it can be quite dry at times. So that's my thoughts. But yeah, I mean, certainly when I had my first Apica notepads, I was really, really pleased with them. Miss Marilyn Darling, Hi Gary, got your package all packed up and ready to be shipped off. Brilliant, thanks for that, Miss Marilyn, darling. Really looking forward to it. Wow, loads of comments still. There we go, Tom. I met one of them at the Atlanta show a while back. Hey, Musset, I have to report on something. I received a Leonardo I ordered directly from Leonardo Officiana in Italy. They offer a CSI, so cursive, something italic. In a medium, cursive italic, there we go. Nib, and I received mine, and they are truly awesome. I bet they are. Are they ones that they make themselves, or are they still based off Yoho nibs that they maybe grind themselves? Amos, it sharp line variation and perfectly tuned. And as far as I know, they're only available when ordering directly from Leonardo. I shall make a note. I haven't had a Leonardo pen for ages. Leonardo order direct. In the past, I've gone through Apple Boom to get them, so I've made a note of that. Using my Pilot Custom 823 at the moment because obviously today's pen is in the lineup. So I thought I'd use this one. I've re-inked this with a different ink and it's nowhere near as nasty as it was. Sorry. David, to Tom, you met Low, did you? Great guy. Sorry, Jolo, right. Jolo. That sounds like a bit like, is there a singer that is it? A J-Lo? I don't know. My mind going all over the place today. David, and then Tom to smiley face. Blonde Scales 1, my Walmart finally got the Spiral Dot Grid Pen Plus Gear notebooks in stock again with the back to school stock. Awesome. So they'll be getting a few purchases there, I'm guessing. Ricardo, good morning from His Majesty's City of Greater London, where it's a cool 16 Celsius. Again, I would say, you know, when I lived in the UK, 16 we would be thinking was warm. And I know it's the early hours of the morning as well. David, hey Ricardo. Marcy Me, August greetings from Texas. Welcome to you, Marcy Me. I've got a video that you put out earlier on to watch later on this morning. Let me just see where it is. It's in my queue. Let me just get into the tube of view. I'll be able to see. Right, let's go back to Safari for a second. There you are, my tube of view. You can see all the rubbish I watch and also the interesting bits. So what have I got? Mini Minute Man, really funny. It's I'm going to say a young kid. I think he's mid-20s now. Minek Theories. So this is a tour that these memory seekers, they go around mainly in the UK, but they go various other places as well, and they do like little documentaries about places. So this is a little theatre right on the, I think it must have been built out of a cliff in somewhere in Cornwall. Time Team special, got that to watch. We've got next on Disney Plus and Prime Team, and Prime. This is what I was saying about Simply Obs, that's lined up ready to go. Then we've got Inquiring Minds live stream from yesterday. Yes, I do watch the live streams. Where are we? There we are. Here's Marcy Me's one. Teacher Academic Planner 2025 to 2026 from Sterling Inc. And then I get into some more like educationally type stuff. I know shouldn't be watching educational stuff, Gary. You should only watch fountain pen stuff. Let's go back then to the comments. Let me minimize this again. Minimize. Ricardo, hello to David. Andreas, thank God it isn't just me with the ads. Yeah, it's got to have been. I got some different prompts when I was creating the live stream, so I'm guessing it's something in there. I'll get that fixed for next week. Marilyn, hello to various people. Blonde Skills 1, I get the ads right before the music starts. Yeah, so that is something I did turn on because I don't mind that at the beginning. It's just these midstream ads that I really don't like. Marcy Me, 92 Fahrenheit in North Texas. Ricardo, got some hellos. Marcy Me, that's 33.3. Oh, perfect weather that. Mid-30s, you can't beat it. Marcy Me, hello. And we've got Robin Allen, hello, Gary and everyone. Welcome to you, Robin. David, hey, Marcy Me. And we've got another hi there. Jim, I said hi to Mike's wife, but I missed Mike. He was getting ready to start streaming. Marcy Me, hello, David. Blonde Scales 1, not a fan of crowds either, but will tolerate for a while with the right subject to enjoy. Yeah, I'm all right for about 5 or 10 minutes, but then it really starts to get me. And even shopping here, if there's too many people in a shop, I just have to go and sit outside because I just can't. I don't know what it is, just anxiety kicks in. Marcy Me, I'm anxious for the Dallas Pen Show next month. I bet you are. You know, that'd be handy. As I've said before, I'd love to go to a large pen show. I'm going to have to try and save up money to go to the one in Turkey, I think. David, hi to the Penator. Tom, hello to Miss Marilyn Darling. Hello back. Amos, the CSI Medium was available on the Supernova Primary Manipulation 5 I just got. Wow, Supernova. Again, I'm not. That might be one I need to look at getting as a Supernova. I do like the look of them. I like bright pens. Supernova and CSI. Might be something to save for. David, hi to Marilyn. Blonde Scales 1 already put a dent in the supply. I bet you have. That's the notepads from Walmart. Under the Influence, welcome to you. Morning from a wet 16 degrees Sydney. Wow, 16, yeah, warmer than we are. It's what? Just checking out on my watch, 11 degrees still. Freezing it is, it's absolutely Baltic. Robin Allen, I watched Marcy Me's Summer Pelican series, really good fun. Yeah, I really enjoyed them. Marilyn, it took a calligraphy class of broad edge. I took a calligraphy class of broad edge fracture today. It was interesting. It only cost $5. It was the guy's first time teaching. It was more of a demonstration. $5. Wow, that's good value, isn't it? Was that like an in-person class, or was that one where it was done online? Because I know you do a number of, I think it used to be Zoom. I don't know if it's on your Discord now. You used to do like classes online. The Penator, missed it before, but hi back to you. Marcy Me, thanks so much. 2 more pelicans coming to the flock soon. Wow, they breed like mad, don't they, these pelicans? Jim, I better say hello back to Marilyn. Let me refresh. Marilyn, yeah, it was an online. Oh, and the message vanished. Right, whilst everything's going on, let's head on over and take a look at the tournament. So we want numbers now. Numbers. Look at the right keyboard, Gary. There we go. He says, yep, we've got numbers up now. Now I need to just get so I can see it. So another high voting week this week. When I checked about 10 minutes before the broadcast start, we had 111 votes and very dominated this one. So the Platinum 3776, 20% of the votes, only 22 votes. The Sailor, the Pilot Custom 823, 70%, absolutely dominating this vote. So that's roughly 77 votes. And then the Sailor Pro Gear Slim coming in the middle, oh no, at the bottom should I say, 10%, only roughly 11 votes. I was quite surprised at that. But I think with the Sailor, I think it's because it's the small version. I think that's what may be putting people off, because it is very small, it is very thin. But by a whopping majority, the Custom 823 is the winning pen. So let me just wake up the keyboard. Whilst that's doing, can I just do it? Oh no, that's a wrong cell. Copy, and let's paste that in. So there we go, we've got our lineup there for semi-final 3. Tomorrow we will have semi-final number 1, which is the Platinum Preppy, the Asvine P20 and the Hondian N8. So quite an interesting lineup there. Let me just save that and go back to, let's go back to this one. Minimize that one. A couple more comments. Andreas got some good news this week. So I just booked flights to go to the Melbourne Pen Show to celebrate. Now to start saving for all the impulse buys. Yeah. I think that's the worst thing, isn't it? It's the things that you see where you go, wow, that's lovely. So you have to then do it. Marilyn, it was an in-person class. Marty Mee, back to school Monday. Will not be able to attend your lives. That's fine. There's, as Miss Marilyn Darling says, there's always the replays. Again, anybody who comments on the replays, I do jump in and try to reply to them as well. Marty Mee, absolutely. Ken T, welcome to you. Good morning all. I'm late as usual. No, you're not late. You're here at exactly the right time that you should be here. And we've got hello to Ken. What should we do now? What time is it? Let's head on over. We'll take a look at the pens. My pen of the week. This is one I've been using all week in my replies. It did start off with one ink, and then partway through the week it ran out of ink, and I'm betting I didn't write down the name of the new ink. Just checking my script. I didn't. So let me just grab something else. Where did I put it? Over here. Yeah, you get to see my lovely arm and jumper there. Just to make sure I get the right ink name. So it started off with Diamond Garland, which is a shimmer ink and a sheening ink. And it was a very wet combo. I mean, to be honest, anything you put in this pen is wet. It is such a wet writer. So this is the Pelikan M1000. Since we've just been talking about Pelikans, that's a good one. And this is the Renaissance Brown. I'm just trying to keep turning this around so you can see it. Very nice, very stunning to look at. We've got an 18 karat gold nib. It's a massive nib. Good. So let's have a little bit of a write with this. So we've got the price for this pen. It's not cheap. Roughly $1,350. And the worst thing is, that's not the most expensive pen in my collection. The ink, I keep calling this the wrong ink. It's by Colorverse. My brain keeps telling me it's Milky Way. It's not Milky Way, it's Whitehall. In this pen, this ink is absolutely awesome. I find the ink is a bit pale for a lot of my other pens, but this one looks really, really good. Now, just checking my preview, I had adjusted the white balance before this, but it's still not quite right. It's still too bright, but hopefully you'll be able to see my writing. So yeah, the Pelikan M1000 with Colorverse Whitehall. So this week's pens, I've got quite a few this week. I've got 3, 6, 7. So the first one, this is from Platinum, and it's the Platinum 3776 Century. Smallish pen, does feel a bit small. Got a little tiny bit of ink left in here. Not sure, I might try and carry on for another few days, but this one will be going out for clean, I would think, sometime this week. So this is a music nib. It's 14 karat gold. Price wise, here we're looking at, he says, looking at his notes, about 461 Aussie dollars. The ink, Colourverse Sailing Stones. Absolutely love this ink. Again, in this pen, it looks really nice. The nib on this does feel quite stiff, and I quite like that. I like that tactileness that you get with it. I have got a video planned. I think it'll be getting recorded next month sometime, or later on this month. What's it next month? I don't know. I was looking at it the other day, where I'm going to compare this music nib against some 1.1 stub nibs, and I might put in another couple of different sized stub nibs. Just thought that'd be an interesting one. Up next, from Jinhao, we've got the Jinhao 9019. Now, hopefully, you can see the ink there. I'm not going to bother unscrewing this. Got that large converter. Again, starting to get low on ink. Still got enough for this week, though. This month, all about using up pens, so I want to get rid of the ink. Got that number 8 size nib there. I'm just going to fetch in that platinum. There you go. That's the number 8 nib there, and that's the platinum with it. So you can see how that platinum still a bigger nib. I'll have to get a pen with a number 9 so I can do a comparison. So we've got here a this is very smooth, and it's also very quiet. I don't even think the mic will pick up the noise with this one. Price wise, it's also very expensive. 12 Aussie dollars. The ink, Diamond Cranberry. I do like this combo. So we've got the beautiful colour, the base colour. Then as it dries, we've got a gorgeous like gold sheen sitting on top of it. Up next, and I'm deliberately agitating it because there's a shimmer ink in here. We've got the Mahjong P139. This is the sparkly white version. I keep looking at the orange one, but I don't know, the orange just doesn't seem to do anything for me. I quite like this white though. Shame they don't do it with the green with the sparkles. I think that would be one I would be jumping on. It's a piston pen, and yes, I risked it. I put a shimmer ink in here. Nice ink window here. I've got a really good idea of the ink level. So I'm just agitating it. I believe this is the last of this ink. I might be wrong. I might have a little bit more left, but I don't think so. So this is so we've got a food day nib. And what I've just made a note there is, I think what I'll do is I'll add this in when I do that comparison of stub nibs, because we get a bit of a stub-like behaviour from it. Price for this, you're looking at approximately 49 Aussie dollars. The ink, so Yule Log by Diamine. This is a really nice brown ink with, not sure if you can see it there, starting to dry, but we've got like a nice like coppery, pinky coppery type shimmer coming out on top of it. Very nice. Next up, from TWSBI, the TWSBI Diamond 580. So I was just having a mouthful of my tea. So here we go. I love this. I love demonstrator pens. This is the only 580 I've got, which I'll have to do something about that eventually, but it's so many pens I'd like, and just so little money. I think that's a problem we all have, isn't it? It's a nice pen though, it's quite enjoyable. Here we go with a nib. Broad nib on this. Now, last week I was reporting I've had issues with this. What I did is I unscrewed this nib unit. I actually pulled the nib and the feed out. I washed it through my ultrasonic cleaner, so I gave it a real good clean. This is as in the nib and feed. And then I repositioned it all. And since then, so far, I haven't really had any issues. So let's see if that carries on. The price for this is about 120 Aussie dollars. The ink, Diamine Weeping Willow. This is another ink. It needs the wider nibbed pens. Otherwise, to me, it seems a bit too wishy-washy, maybe is the best way to put it. I might try and get this set sometime into that Pelican. I think the colours of this ink might actually go well in the Pelican. But that's the TWSBI Diamond 580. We're going to stay where we are. We're going to stay in Taiwan for the Laban 325 in Cambridge Brown. Nice looking pen. I personally, pardon me, where we've got this pattern here, to me it looks like it's a bit of an add-on because they ran out of material for doing it in just plain brown. That's just the way I see it. I would like to have seen this maybe if it had been in here and in the cap, then with the end parts of the brown, I think would have looked nicer, but that's just a personal view. We've got a cartridge converter here, loads of ink in this one. Oh, don't know what happened there, something just popped up, it went ding, and then it went away. And we've got a steel nib on here. Price for this pen is about 216 Aussie dollars. I do question, when you look at the 580 and look at this, is it worth $216 when you can pay 120 for that Diamond 580? The ink, Diamine Pick Me Up. This is a dark brown ink, and then as it dries to have this beautiful green sheen to it. Sorry. I do try to cover the mic near my mouth when I cough. The other one unfortunately gets the full thing, but hopefully not much because I do turn away. Next up is that Sailor Pro Gear Slim. As said, this is a fairly small and fairly thin pen. We've got, I'm actually struggling to see the amount of ink in here. I need to let it settle a bit, but I know there's not overly much ink left. I have to use this pen coasted, otherwise it's just too short. It does feel a bit thin, but it's all right. The thing with this pen, I love the nib. It is my favourite nib, full stop. And hopefully as I'm writing, you'll be able to hear it. So this is a broad nib and it's 14 karat gold. Price for this pen, you're looking approximately 355 Aussie dollars. Now I did price this up, I'll try to price this up recently. I can't see this particular colour for sale anywhere else now. This is Blue Green Nebula. The ink, Colorverse NGC 2264. I actually love this combo, and I'm thinking, whilst I've still got that ink, that might be the sole ink for this pen. I absolutely love the combo. I think the ink and the pen work really well together, and they're both named after astronomical items. So NGC 2264 is a galaxy cluster, and Blue Green Nebula obviously is a nebula, birthplace of stars. And finally, from Opus 88, we've got the Opus 88 Coloro. So this was brought in because one of the other pens had run out. There we go. Love this. This is teal and blue. So we've got ebonite for the blue and like plastic for the teal. Japanese eyedropper and another steel nib here. Price for this pen is approximately 137 Aussie dollars. The ink, Diamine Cosmic Glow. So this is a extreme sheen ink. I mean, I'm seeing it drying already, so hopefully the camera might capture this. There we go, drying with that nice redness to it as well. Again, another video that I've got planned to record sometime in the next month or so is I'm going to take all of the extreme sheen inks from this year's Inkvent calendar and compare them to, not this year's, last year's should I say, Inkvent calendar, and compare them against each other. So that's the pens I've been using this week. So let's head on back to the comments. Wow, loads of comments. So we've got morning to Ken. Marcy me, suddenly I drool at the first pen of the week. Absolutely. It is a stunner. And yes, I know I paid more than what you would pay for a normal M1000 because it's a special edition one. But it is so, so nice. And the nib, oh my lord. It is really, really wet. It is, I would say, the wettest writer I've got. Now, see, Garry, you know I do not have a M1000, I know. It is a fairly big pen, I will give it that. I don't have an M800 to compare it against. Nearest I've done is looked with a Admark M800, and I do have a video to do to compare them, but that's not yet been scheduled for recording. Oh, that's the wife, I just heard a noise. Ken T, what a beautiful, beautiful pen. Looks amazing and a step up from the popular pinstripe M1000 look. Yeah, that's what really attracted it to me. I know a lot of people like it, but I'm not really into that pinstripe look. To me, it reminds me of the olden days when you had the barber's poles with the red and white stripes. I don't know why, because they were going around, they weren't going up and down, but that's what it always makes me think of. Blonde Scales 1, I think Marcy Me might be slightly jealous. Marcy Me slightly squared. We got, wow. This is the problem with this interface that I've got. It's not brilliant. Sorry, excuse me 1 minute. The Penotor, Garry, I'm curious, do you use any inks besides Colourverse and Diamine? Or do you stick with the ink calendar inks specifically? Very good question. So yes, I do have quite a lot of other inks. I've got quite a lot of other Diamine inks other than Inkvent. I've got some Robert Oster inks. I've got Pure Pens. I've got a Noodlers, I think. Some Pilot Irusha Suzuki. But at the moment, what I'm doing is I'm focusing on getting down the Inkvent and Colourvent inks. Why I'm doing that, this box I'm getting out here, these are all the Inkvent inks. I've got the little bottles. These all do have ink in them. And remember, there'll be another 24 to come this year. Then I've got a similar box with the 24 bottles, was it 24? Of Colourverse inks. Let me just grab them. So again, these are all the Colourverse ones from Colourvent. So what I'm doing is, at the moment, I focus purely on using Inkvent and Colourvent inks, unless there's a reason not to. So one of the things I've got is, I've got an ink by Pure Pens called St. George's Cross. So I always use that in April for St. George's Day. As we head to other times of the year, I might use something different, and also depending on the pen. But yeah, no, unfortunately, most of the time I'm focusing on Colourvent and Inkvent, and that's going to be like that for a while until I've used them up. Blonde Scales 1, lol. He's currently trying to use up some inks. Yeah, so that was put in one sentence what I took loads to say. CS2, Hyper CS2, welcome to you. If I may ask, what fountain pen do you use to grade papers in school? Kenty, I just learned this week that Robert Oster inks are made here in Australia. I didn't know that. I'll need to try some out. Yeah, so it's somewhere near Adelaide that they're based. Yeah, so I'm not 100% certain on other Australian ink makers. There was one based in Brisbane. It was also a shop, but just before the pandemic, or maybe part of the pandemic, they went out of business. But yeah, Robert Oster, really good. Lots and lots of inks, lots of choice in colours. The Penator, I reckon we all find ourselves in that position, and one time or many. Blonde Scales 1, inks do tend to breed when you're not looking. Absolutely they do. Tom, yes, the Penator, I know they do on me. Yeah, I'm now working on these. Before that, I was concentrating quite heavily on inks. I've managed to get my inks down a little bit, but at one time I had about 300 different inks by the time I take into account bottles and samples. So it was most of last year was focused on using samples up, which I eventually got through. So now, yeah, the focus is on using them little bottles, and then once they're eventually gone, I'll move back to the bigger bottles. I think the last month I've emptied 3 of the bottles, so I'm slowly getting there. Hyper CS2, always thought they were European or British. Yeah, because you get them a lot. I see a lot of them on Cult Pens. Kenty, we've got a cry. Is that laughing with crying? Crying with laughter or something? Blonde Scales 1, my samples will soon have 5 new editions. Yeah, they are terrible for breeding the samples. The Penator, and for some reason I'm not smart enough to buy samples. I go all out on bottles. I did when I first started. I was only buying bottles rather than samples. Then I got into samples, and that was really silly, Gary, because I bought virtually every one I could see going. It does give me a nice feeling though now when I'm emptying a bottle. Robin, I'm trying to use up inked pens too, but I have so much trouble not inking new ones. Yeah, I have a very, obviously because of doing the videos as well. So what I do is I have these every 3 months is a use me up month. So the whole idea there, unless I have to ink a pen for a video, it's not to ink up any pens, just to use up what's in my pen case. I'm terrible. I know I shouldn't be like this. I don't like throwing ink down the sink. So even if I'm not enjoying a pen, I'll still keep using it. I'm trying to condition myself out of that, but it's very hard to change that sort of habit. Blonde Scales 1, I really, really need to clean out some pens. So do I, because I've been so busy. I've got all these to do with being distracted working on that project. And they'll be getting added to over this coming week. But hopefully, maybe not next week, but the week after, I'll have time to do it. Jim Doodlebug demoed Robert Oster graphite ink as an ink he didn't care for. It intrigued me. Anyone try it? I've not tried the graphite, no. I like Tranquility. That's one of my favourite Robert Oster inks. And there's, what other ones have I got? Aussie Brown. That's quite a nice one. I can't remember what the other ones are. I've got a number of Robert Osters, but yeah, Tranquility I really, really like. Marcy Me, sorry, the ad's knocked me off mid-sentence. Any colour but red. Mostly purple of the pens in my rotation. Mostly Sailor, Kaweco or Pilot. Penator, for the life of me, I can't get inked pens under a dozen, no matter how hard I try. Yeah, tell me about it. I think, let me show you. So we've got the ones that you've just seen. I've got 3 to the side here that I'm going to be using to record a video tomorrow. Get that in the camera. I've got those. And those. And those. He says. I've got pens laying all over the place, I tell you. That's why I like having this fairly compact space. It's a bit easier. Oh, that one. So yeah, loads of pens. And slowly but surely, that's the whole idea this month, is to try and run that down a bit. Ken, I saw that and thought myself that graphite looked rather nice and unique. I think his major complaint was it had a green shade to it. Looked nice to me. Oh, that might be nice. That's like a greeny black or a greeny grey. Robin, I've got a greenish grey ink. Not sure if it's Robert Oster. It's not my favourite grey either. I think it's Diamine Ghost. To me, that's the base is like a grey ink, but as you're writing with it, when you're writing whilst it's still wet, it's got a green tinge to it, but it dries to grey. I quite like that. Marcy Me, I find medium or broad nibs bleed through school copy paper. I try to use fine nibs in upper right corner. Tom, I usually have 20 to 30 inked. What keeps it that small is that all of the inked pens have to fit into 3 Bagworks pen cases. Yeah, that's a nice limit to have. Was it about 2 or 3 months ago, that pen case I just showed you was completely full of inked pens. And there are only inked pens in there. All my other pens are in these plastic trays behind me, which you can't see. He says, let me move. Which way do I move? That way? No, that way. No, I don't know. Stand up, Gary. Yeah. I've got 2 shelves full of these, like this. So there's 10 trays on each shelf, and most of those are fairly full. Tom Morley, oops, pen cases. Bronze Scales 1. I need to clean so I can ink new ones. Also so that the ink residue doesn't become part of the pen. Yeah, that's the beauty of an ultrasonic cleaner when that happens. Ken, I had 2 new pens arrive this week. A Marjon P140 and an Asvine V126. To console myself for deciding not to buy a Pelikan M1000. Well, that's the way to do it. If I tried that with my wife, I think she'd say some rude words to me now. Marcy Me, I would rather buy bottles for the cost and then have plenty to share with pen friends. Yep, that's a good idea as well. Bronze Scales 1, there will be a pen with the samples. Just don't know what it will be yet. Sorry. Is that because it's one of these... what do they call them? Like botsy type things, where surprise bots or something like that. Or you just haven't decided what the pen is that you would like yet. The Penator, I can relate. I've got 2 6-pen pen rolls I keep full. I stay away from going down the pen storage rabbit hole because I can't afford another obsession outside of pens, inks and paper. Yeah, again, I know what you mean there. That's why I've got these trays. So the trays that I use, let me just pull one out for you. What they are A4 document box, like little document boxes. So they're A4 size. So rather than putting paper in it though, what my wife has done is made this nice liner, and there's some dowels running down each to give a little bit of separation. And yeah, that's how I keep my pens. And what I do, here you can see these 2. I can get 2 pens in each slot, of most pens, so that gives me that option there. Jim, I got a rather unusual pen recently from that W word. They call it the Shizuku. They took a glass nib and gave it a fountain pen treatment, so it's a cartridge converter. Feels like a silly nib. Wow, that's a good idea, isn't it? Robin, I love the Laban Garry has. It's so pretty. I recently purchased a Laban 325 Glacier. It's gorgeous, and I had a custom fine stub nib ground. It's wonderful. Yeah, that Laban one, it's a nice pen, nice to write with. It's just, I say, it's just my particular taste with that colouring. The Penator, ironically, I have no pen friends. I've just got no friends. I've kind of been on this island alone my whole life. All the people I can relate to in this community are online. Yeah, same with me. Living where I do is fairly out of the way. Like there is a pen club in Perth, they do pen meets once a month. But for me to go there, you're talking about an hour and a half each way on public transport. if I was to drive, I'd have to then take the wife because although I can drive, I don't like driving. Mainly because of medical reasons. But so to drive that sort of distance, I always like the wife to drive. Ken, I really like the resin that Opus 88 use in their pens. It's just a little different in feel from others and I love it. Always rolling my Opus 88 Omar between my fingers. Yeah, the Omar's a lovely pen. That's inked up somewhere. I think it was in the thing. Tom, I had 2 pen cases, a Sinclair / Bagworks, but then I got another about a year ago. Oh, pardon me. Sorry, touch of wind. On other news, is anyone going to a Pelican Hubs meet this October? I regard this as an opportunity to share extra pens and inks and knowledge with like-minded people. Again, I'm not, purely because the distance to get there. It's just so far to go. And obviously my wife, not being into pens, wouldn't be that interested. You know, normally when I say, oh, look at this new pen, she goes, yeah. I'm trying to pretend that she's interested. Blonde Scales 1. My only hobby / interest where I have someone to talk to locally is crocheting. Oh, my wife's a knitter. You can't see it because it's over on the sofa. Past few years, she's been knitting blankets. So we've got some really nice knitted blankets that she's done. Oh, sorry. Oh, terrible, yawning now. My other big hobby, obviously, as you may have noticed from what I was saying earlier on, is application development. So I develop apps for Apple systems now. And again, that's something which you just sat by yourself. So yeah, I say I've got no friends, so it doesn't bother me. Marcy me, totally understandable. I actually had a pen fried campus colleague once. Now I just ship and share pen samples. Another bloody ad. Sorry. The Penator, I'm currently being wooed by some rickshaw cases and rolls, and I'm trying to stay strong. Yeah, don't they look nice? Especially, is it the ones that Tomato did with, I think it's octopuses. I like the look of those. Tom Morley, to Ricardo, I love Pelican Hubs. Unfortunately, last year's was cancelled due to storm, so I'm really looking forward to this year's. Tom, and Opus 88s are great for taking on trips, well behaved on planes, and they hold a lot of ink. Yeah, that's that brilliant, with it being that Japanese eyedropper, so it's got that shut-off valve. Tom, the Atlanta hub last year was cancelled, others were fine. Marilyn, this week I bought 3 Kakunos, 1 extra fine, a fine, and a medium. Yeah, the Kakuno's a really good pen. I've got to be honest, do I have a Kakuno? I don't think I do. It's purely because I don't like the look of them. But yeah. Jim, I think ostrich ink made in Australia. Light one was poor quality of the 2 I bought. Yeah, I've not heard of them, ostrich inks. Let me have a look at that. Not that I need any more ink, but ostrich inks. Ostrich. Under the influence, diamine graphite is a great shading green-grey. Blonde Scales 1, monthly bots from True Fair. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. I just couldn't think of the word. Blonde Scales 1, so never know what inks and pen will turn up. Andreas, I'm amazed how many pens people have inked. I have 6, 1 each for my gym bag, work bag, journal, career compendium, farm compendium, and health/wellbeing compendium. I thought that was too much. Yeah, for me, the main reason I've got so many inked up, obviously, is because of doing the videos. You know, I'm doing at least 1 top 5 video a month. So that's 5 pens there needed to, or if they're not already in, but, you know, obviously 5 pens. Then I've got my pens in use, which is another 6 pens, plus the pens of the week. Plus I have a different pen for writing my headers. So yeah, mine's purely because of videos. If it wasn't for that, I would just have my 6 pens in use. and maybe a couple left over from the previous month. Marcy Me, I've experienced the True Fairy boxes with pen sample vial surprises. Blonsdale's 1, I've been enjoying them. Marcy Me, I enjoy writing with colour at home and at work. Many pens inked to satisfy. Yeah, I've very rarely ink up a black ink. And my black ink of choice I've had for about 4 years. That's how much is out of it. Next to nothing. This is Noodler's Heart of Darkness. Heart of Darkness. I love this ink if I need a black. But I don't use black very often, as you can tell. I think I've maybe inked up over the last year maybe 1 pen with the black ink. And that was for a specific reason, and I cleaned it out fairly quickly afterwards. Musset, if you try to resist rickshaw, check Galen Leather's pen pouches. Yeah, Galen Leather can be a bit of a slippery slope. It's in a box, so I won't get it out. I've got my Galen Leather A5 folio. I haven't used that for a while. Maybe I might use that next month for my pens. Robin, sorry, into my cordial now. We've got Batman, and it's orange cordial. I only buy sugar-free cordials, and then I drink them really, really weak anyway. Robin, your wife not being so interested in pens just makes it more impressive how much effort she put into a pen advent calendar for you. Sweet wife. Yeah, she loves doing stuff like that. She loves like spending the time getting all the gifts and wrapping. That is really her pleasure, and I know she does it all year round. I mean, I have said this a number of times before. Most of the pens, I've got a rough idea. I don't know when they'll be coming or what they'll be with, but obviously she won't buy the pens. So what I do is I do give her a list, and then when she's ready, I'll go through and I'll sit with her and add them all into the cart. Then I go and walk away while she looks for anything else or takes some out or whatever she wants to do with them. The Penator. So far, I've been able to satiate the cravings with Fountain Pen of Revolution and Girologio. Hopefully I pronounced that one right. Hey, Musset, I failed to resist. I got 3 Galen Leather Folio A5, which also hold 10 pens. Yeah, I think Galen is really nice. It's a feel of the leather. The Penator. Oh, gonna have to. Let's get the box. Oh, there's the box. You can see all the pen wraps that my wife's made for me. Those last months I haven't put away yet. Let's pop this in, and I'll get the Galen leather out because I'll use that next month, so I'll leave it out. There we go. Let me just pop this away. I'll put that away properly in a bit. So yeah, I've got my A5 folio there. I've got my initials put on it. There we go. And a kitchen roll, but it's really handy as a blotter. I love the way it's aging, as it's scratching up. I think it looks really nice. And I can't remember the last time I used this, but I've got my USB stick on there, and then I've got the Evil Eyes, and I think that was off a. Oh yeah, there were some not Visconti, Leonardo pens that I got. I'll leave that out for next month. Musset, I think that's some kind of thingamajiggery bob. Kenty, I got a super thanks there. Thank you so much, Ken. Very, very much appreciate. Thank you for this great little community. Love listening to Pen Chat on Sunday mornings. A little more to the Mont Blanc Fund. Thank you so much. Very much appreciate that. Yes, I'm saving up for once a year over the past couple of years. I've got myself a really expensive pen. So you've seen the Pelican M1000 already. That's the one that I got this year. Last year it was the Visconti Homo Sapiens. So this year, what I'm doing, for next year, I'm saving up for Mont Blanc pen. Not sure which one yet. So what I do is, obviously, I save up during the year. Then Christmas, all my my family tend to give me some money for Christmas, so that all goes towards it, and then I top up whatever else is needed by myself. So yeah, that's what I'm looking for this year. So thank you so much, very much appreciate that. Jim, I like the Girolojo 24 pen cases. The pen case I got, it was a cheaper one from, I think it was AliExpress. Doesn't go out of the house. If I'm going out of the house, I've got my Galen leather one. The Penator, damn you, Gary, you don't have to pile on the pressure. Oh, I do. I'm here to tempt you. Blonde Scales 1, lol. David, Aston cases are the best pen cases that I have ever seen. Aston. I don't know. I do have this tray, which is what I have my pens in. I can't remember if that was Aston. I got the whole thing, but I find I just use the tray. So yeah, that's. Let me just put it. Yeah, to make it easy when I'm recording, whatever video I'm doing, I put them in all the pens in here, so it's easy to get out. So they'll be put away back into the proper pen roll after the video, and then for tomorrow's recording, I'll load it up with those ones. Marilyn, thank you, Ken. Amos, at you too. I'm saving for a Mont Blanc 149. Yeah, I'd say I'm not sure which one I want. There was, the last time I was there in Perth, there is a Mont Blanc shop. So when I've got saved up for it, that's where I'll actually go and look at the Mont Blanc shop. I say just not sure. I like the look and the idea of the Stargazer, I think it is. Mainly because, I don't know why, but I keep wanting to call it the Skywalker. But that's it. That's a decision for like 5-6 months down the road. Andreas, I love my Galen leather medic bag. But because I mainly buy oversized pens, I found a Galen leather, a Gian leather on Etsy to be better for my pens. Yeah, that medic bag. When I first got my lovely, gorgeous, absolutely brilliant Galen leather folio. So I did think about, look at the medic bags, and I was saying to Elaine, oh, I like the look of that, and she said, well, what would you use it for? And you know, thinking about it, I really wouldn't use it, but yeah. Marcy Me, yes, the Galen medic bag is exquisite. Absolutely it is. The Pentar, Garry, you need to become an affiliate with some of the retailers like Atlas, etc., so that you can build up credits by us using your links. You're one of the very few creators not taking advantage. Yeah, I do think about this from time to time, but one of the reasons why I haven't is I don't want to be tied that it looks like I'm supporting any specific company, and really I should do, because it costs nothing to be an affiliate. You know, there's Atlas, there's Goldspot, I can't remember which other ones, but yeah, it's something I've thought about, but I've not really taken the leap. Let me make a note there. Affiliate links. I've made a note, so I will have a look at that. Andreas, Garry, the new green Star Walker, it's really tempting, and I don't normally like that range. Wow, a green, that suits everything for me. Marilyn, I have a medic bag as I was a physician for 16 years. I've used it exactly once. I much prefer my backpack. Yeah, I've got to be honest, if I need to take a bag out with me, I've shown them before, they're down behind. I've got two messenger bags, 2 different sizes, depending on what I'm taking out. And they're the ones I normally reach for. And, you know, both these bags I've had at least 15 years. And I've got to be honest, they still look like new because I treat them well. But, you know, they carry so much. Robin, Marcy Me did the tempting for me with her Pelican series. Just bought 4 in the M200 range. Yeah, the M200 range is quite nice. Okay, that's all the comments. Let's head over for our presentation, then we'll come back for some more comments. So let's head on over. Find the right button. Sorry, just having a mouthful of cordial. So last week's video. So Monday, we've already seen the results. We had heat number 9, the last heat of the fountain pen tournament. On Wednesday, we had the July wrap-up, so how I got on with my pens last month. And on Friday, that's where I introduced the lineup of my pens in use for the coming month. On Saturday, I had the Ask Me Anything video, so members got the latest version, and everybody else, the version that came out was from 6 months ago. Next week's video. So tomorrow, semi-final number 1 of the tournament. The first one. So as I've already said, that's the Preppy, the Asvine P20 and the Hondian N8. Just trying to remember all the pens. Wednesday, a Hero 240 First Impressions, which I'm not sure if I'm doing the video. My brain at the time was telling me it was called a Hero 520, not a 240, but it is a 240 apparently. Then Friday, I've got my ink review for August. Coming up, oh no, books of the week. So I've finished Terry Brooks' The Genesis of Shannara book number 3, The Gypsy Morph. So that was the last in that particular mini-series. Really enjoy it. So we've now got our heroes have gone, they've got to a safe place. One of them sacrificed himself to protect the whole area. Really interesting, but I love fantasy books anyway, and I love the way it's tying in with our current world. And then once I'd done that, I started with Sidney Chambers and the Dangers of Temptation. So another Grantchester Mysteries. So we're carrying on here with the Adventures of Sidney Chambers. One of the things I've noticed, I think I've said this before, between the book and the TV show, the TV show, Geordie is essentially, a second main character, whereas I find in the books it's just a supporting character rather than the main one. The other main character, if I had to say there was one, would be his wife, Sidney's wife. So yeah, that's quite interesting. I might finish it today. If not today, it'll be tomorrow. Then I'm on to another Anne Cleeves book, another Shetland book. I've got, in this Grantchester Mysteries, there's only 2 more books for me to read, then that's done. And then I will be swapping over to something else. I'm not sure, I might go for another fantasy author, not sure, I'll have to think about that nearer the time. Also depends on the author. I can get most of my books from the library. I do like using libraries, and I generally get them as ebooks, so I can read them on my Kobo. But yeah, loving it, really enjoying this, but I'll be glad to get it finished. It's starting to get a bit, what's the word I'm looking for? Not repetitive, but not exciting in the way that I was getting from the Terry Brooks book. So that was my, whoops, wrong one there, that was what I want. And then minimize this. And I lost, oh, there it is. Marcy Me to Robin, enjoy those pelicans. Did you get various nib sizes? Yeah, that's something else. Again, I need to save up for some more pelicans. I've got a 205, which is a steel nib. But after experiencing the 1000, I need to get some of the others. The Penator, I'd rather see you a genuine aficionado. Sorry. Struggling to talk now. I'd rather see you, a genuine aficionado and fan of this hobby, get something out of it than some of the people getting a lot of free stuff who frequently don't even know what they're talking about. Yeah, I say it's just a matter of, and maybe it's just the way I am. I just don't like asking people for stuff. I really do struggle with it. So, you know, when I do my things at the end of my videos and I've got that advert thing that I put in about membership, I really do feel icky doing that sometimes, I've got to be honest. Robin, Marcy me, I mostly got extra fine and fine. I have all the nib sizes and some separate nibs. They're so easy to change in and out. The Penator, unrelated, I am amused that you're reading Terry Brooks because in 1983, my father got me the Elfstones of Shannara series, and it's neat to see someone else aware of the author. Yeah, I've read the first two trilogies about 3 times now. My version of the Elfstones, it's in the other room, but it's virtually falling apart. It's one of the authors, when we moved to Australia, I left all my books in the UK, and it's one of the authors that I rebought all the books once we were in Australia and settled. What I'm now doing is, the ones I'm reading now, I haven't actually read before, because I was reading lots of other stuff. And so I've got back to Terry Brooks. So my plan is I'm going to now go through and do a catch up on all the Terry Brooks books. So like I did with Terry Goodkind, I've still got 3 of his to go through. And with Terry Pratchett over the last year. So Terry Brooks is my next one I'm going to do that with. I've got a couple of others that I want to think about. I know I've shown this before. Let me just pull this up. Not sure exactly how legible, readable it'll be. Screen sharing. Yeah. So this is in notes. This is, again, why I'm writing my list app. So these are all the various authors that I would like to read or have read. So I know there's a Patrick Rothfuss one to come, but that's not been released yet. I finished Terry Pratchett, Terry Goodkind. I'm out of the Nicky and Richard Chronicles type stuff, so into those. I know there's a lot of whinging about her, but there's a number of other Robert Galbraith books, so I might read them. I know it's J.K. Rowling, and I know there's a lot of people, there's a lot of, I don't want to say nastiness around that. Brandon Sanderson, there, I might get back into that. So they're the ones I've read which are ticked off. So I've got all these to read, and that was from a few years ago I made this list, so I might move into his next as well. So I'm not sure. I'd say I've got loads of authors that I want to read. As you can see, there's quite a lot of them, and all sorts of different genres. Go back to the camera. Let's go back over here. Let's just fetch that to the front. There we go. Robin, did anyone order the Leonardo Momento Zero Grande 2.0 in dragon skin? Dragon skin? Oh, wow. With the number 8 nib. I received the green a couple of days ago. It looks wonderful. Oh, wow. I didn't even know there was one. MLMG, dragon skin. Because that ties in with my, the way that I like the oh God, come on, Garry, what are you doing? Because it ties in with my fantasy books that I like and fantasy movies, that might be worth one. Blonde Scales 1, I find it interesting that Terry Brooks joined the Shannara books with the Night of the Word books. I do. I think it's absolutely brilliant. And the series I've read is set about 100 years in our future, and it's about the downfall of Earth and how it's all falling apart. I really, really love that. I think it's a brilliant idea. The Penator, if you like Brooks, you should absolutely read the Thomas Covenant series by Stephen R. Donaldson. Yeah, I've read them all. I started reading them when I was about 18. And and read them all. I do. I need to give them another read. Have you tried the Kings of the Wild? I haven't. Let me make a note of that. That'll get put into the list. Kings of the Wild. Thanks, I've added that. I'll get that into my list. I've just made a note of it. Robin, I've got several Leonardos, but not a Grande, with a number 8 nib. That sounds massive. Tom, I really like Thomas Covenant. Yeah, so do I. I'll show you in 1 second how much I like it. My wedding ring, which camera I am? I'm on that camera, so I want this one. My wedding ring, there you go, is gold and white gold, so there's a white gold band. My other rings that I'm wearing, and the ones that I aren't wearing, all my rings, he says, try and get that in there, yeah. I do like my bling. They're all white gold. So they might look silverish, but they're not, they're white gold. So, and then I've got behind me a whole load of other white gold rings, which I do occasionally swap out for some of the others. Jim, I almost got a Terry Brooks novel at a book swap fundraiser, but another beat me to it. I can really recommend them. They're really, really good. The Penator, I was all in from book 1. Yeah, I was. And it was a bit disappointed with the series, the TV series they did, because they started it with book 2. I think they didn't have book, the Sword of Shannara in it at all, which I found was a little bit disappointing. Tom Morley, I read them years ago when they first came out. The Penator, I don't know when they first came out, but I dove in again in 1983. And then Robin, I like that Leonardo does so many different nib options. This one is very large and has dragon wings on the nib. Oh, you're making me want it more and more. I'm going to have a good look at that and see how much I can get saved. The Penator, I became fascinated with white gold because he was the white gold wielder. Absolutely. And as you can see, I'm a prime example of that. The one ring I'm really disappointed I didn't get, and I wish I had at the time, but at the time I just couldn't afford it. When we were in the UK, so we're talking over 20 years ago, there was the one ring from Lord of the Rings. The company was doing them, and I looked at it, but I just, at the time, I couldn't afford it because I love the Lord of the Rings. The Lord of the Rings I've read. If I've read it 5 times, I might have read it even more than that. Same with The Hobbit. I read The Silmarillion last year. I did find that quite hard going. But The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, absolutely love those. And I say, I don't read them every year, not even every 2 or 3 years, but I do read them and reread them quite often. Ken, Leonardo Memento Zero 2.0 dragon skin pens have little dragon on the nibs. Beautiful looking. You know what we're going to have to do? Where's Safari? Let's Leonardo dragon skin. Oh wow, oh wow. They are gorgeous. You know, there's all these things. They are absolutely gorgeous. So how much is it? How much am I going to need to save? Oh, that's a lot of saving. That might actually be, I might bump the Mont Blanc for that. Wow, that is stunning. I do like the look of that. Oh, sorry. You've tempted me a lot there. Wow, that looks nice. So, you can see how easy I go off at a tangent. And we're going really long today. I'm going to get a mega telling off. The Penator. Well, Gary, you're my man now. Cool. Blonde Skills 1. I do not need a dragon pen. I do not need a dragon pen. I do need a dragon pen. The Penator. Thomas Covenant is a perfectly flawed hero. Absolutely. Andreas, have a look at the dragon pen blonde skill. You may really need it. Sorry about that. Marilyn, unfortunately, I know what you're trying to say, but I'll tell you why in a second. I just heard Gary's heart jump to 200 when he saw that MZG pen. Lol. Yeah, unfortunately, me and my heart rate is a very bad thing because I have severe tachycardia. Last year when I took that break, it was because it had actually triggered, and I had in like 30 minutes I had I've got an ICD. I had 30 minutes it triggered and shot me 11 times, and when I was talking to the person when they were looking at the ICD, they were saying that roughly my heart rate had gone up to 240 on each of those occasions. So yeah, the only reason I'm here today is because I've got an ICD. Jim, I listen to more books than read now because I can listen while doing other things. Still love books though. Yeah, I used to listen to a lot when I was working, because I was commuting into Perth, which was about an hour's drive each way. But yeah, absolutely love it. Loved listening to them. So I've still got my Audible books. I don't subscribe to them anymore though. The Penator, I would love to have a Leonardo dragon skin, but alas, I do not have Leonardo money. Absolutely with you on that one. Amos, it beautiful pen for sure. Blonde Scales 1, money for it might be a problem. I'm with that as well. For the new, thank you so much, Under the Influence. There we've got $7.99 super thanks for the new dragon pen fund. Thank you so much for that. Marilyn, calm down, you'll be okay. Yeah, I know, it's just, wow, that's a lovely pen. This is, unfortunately, one of my problems is I do get excited quite easy. The Penator, don't stroke out on us, we need you. Yeah, no worries about that. I'll tell you what my heart rate is at the moment. At the moment, it's 74, which is about average for me. Robin, I found my Leonardo dragon skin on sale at Endless Pens, 25% off. Yeah, I'll certainly have to have a look around for that. What a nice looking pen. Oh, I'm nearly out of my juice as well, my cordial. I think we're getting near the end. Let me just do one more refresh of the comments. And then Alan, wow. Andreas, $10 there. Cool, thank you so much. Very much appreciate that. Really do appreciate anything that comes in. Ties in actually quite well with going into my my final bits. Anything that comes in through the ads, which I will turn off. I do not like that. I'll have a look to see if I can turn them off. Anything that comes in through ads, anything that comes in through super thanks, all goes towards getting new stuff to keep me going. I'm planning on starting to sell, hopefully middle of August, a monthly planner type thing over on Etsy. That's out with a few people for beta testing at the moment. I haven't had any negative feedback. So I'm planning on, I say, going live with that. So I'll be putting that up for sale September's. I'm aiming for the middle of this month. Again, part of the reason why I'm doing my list app is to make it easier for doing that. So anything that comes from that also will get fed back into essentially improving the channel. So thank you so much for that. Membership's available. Again, membership, anything coming in from membership goes back into the channel. Members get early access to most of my videos. So tomorrow's video, they got access yesterday. They Ask Me Anything, they get 6 months earlier than everybody else. I know, wow, 6 months. And we also do once a month with members a Discord chat. So we get on a chat, and it's just a nice way to get to know each other. Please hit the thumbs up button every time you like, every time you comment. Just helps with the YouTube algorithm. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel so that you can get new videos as I release them. I will now reload the comments. Marilyn, I remember the first time I saw my Leonardo Memento Magico in emerald, my heart jumped to 120. Yeah, I can bet. My Magico's in meal or honey. It's in the box here that you can't see. So this is another. Now, where are we? The Penator. This is a Gale and Leather product. So there's my Leonardo Magico. In this box, I put the pens that I think look really pretty. So this is always on display. It's full at the moment. So, like with my M1000, it'll never get in here because it will never not be inked up. I know you're seeing the reflection on my screen as well. Anyway, I'll pop that back. That's just behind there, so it's visible for me to see. Andreas, a little help, so maybe you can turn off the ads. Cool, thank you so much, Andreas. Very much appreciated. Robin, I think the sale is only 2 more days. The Penator, leave the ads. Get what you can when you can. Not like you're getting rich off the content you provide. I can suffer ads. If I try and remember, I will go, because I did it a while ago, go through what I get. So I will try and do that again. Blessings everyone from David. Go with God and those you love. Blonde Scales 1, have a great week all. Marilyn, bye everyone. Have a great rest of your week. Jim, thanks for coming. Have a great coming week all. Marilyn, thanks Gary. The Penator, you as well. Andreas, thanks Gary. Really enjoyed today's live. Have a great week all. Any more comments? Ricardo, ladies and gentlemen, have a great week. Robin, goodbye and God bless. So that's all the comments. So I will leave the comments open whilst the outros are playing. So thank you all once again. I love doing these and I'll talk to you again soon.